So we had the budget last week and I wanted to make a few comments, particularly on devolution and levelling up. On the devolution front, there were big moves for Manchester and the West Midlands in terms of future anticipated devolution of funding. One of the big complaints has been that the funding that's flowed to these mayoral combined authorities has been siloed, it's been in different pots. The idea now is that this will all be wrapped up into one funding award and that there will be a lot more flexibility locally in terms of how the mayors of the West Midlands and Manchester choose to use that funding. So I think that's a really positive move. In terms of strengthening regional economies, the whole idea of investment zones has come back. Most but not all of the mayoral combined authorities have been identified as being able to put in bids for investment zones. So we'll watch how that evolves really closely. But the whole idea here is to try and drive the economy outside of London. In terms of the Levelling Up Fund itself, it was confirmed that there will be a round 3, which is great news. But in addition to that, there were other pots of funding. There was 200 million identified for specific regeneration projects. Now, my understanding is that this is funding intended for projects that were close but unsuccessful in round 2 of the Levelling Up Fund. There's also 400 million identified for what's called Levelling Up Partnerships, and we'll have to watch closely to see how that evolves and exactly what their focus is. I would make 2 general points. One is that whilst it's fantastic to have all of this infrastructure funding and funding for regeneration, we mustn't forget that this is all about creating a better life for people, and that these projects have to take into consideration health and well-being and how this investment contributes to that, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want. The second point is that councils should think very carefully about how they specifically benefit from all of this. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different funding streams, and not all of it flows directly to councils. So if I was in the shoes of council chief execs, I'd be sitting down now and I'd be taking a look at my economic strategy, and I'd be making sure that everything fits with what's been announced here, and that my area in particular is going to benefit as much as it can.